Greg, apparently life is going to go on after Penn State lost at Ohio State. Maybe not for some people in their minds, but there's still a month of football left to play. Some good matchups for Penn State, including Saturday's tilt with Big Ten East rival Michigan State. Noon kick, interesting, first of all. And then it's on Fox. Also, I think, pretty interesting. The question is, how much did the Ohio State loss take out of Penn State? And do you think Michigan State can give this Penn State team that is a 7.5-point favorite a game?
Well, I look at it this way, Bob. I think that the sales are usually pretty easy to inflate for this Penn State team. And what I mean by that is that I don't seem to ever get too high or too low. I believe James Franklin about that. I think it's mostly because of how old and veteran most of the team is, and especially the leaders of it. So I think they can move past the Ohio State game mentally. Problem is physically. You've played Michigan, and you did blow them out, and you got some guys out in the fourth quarter, but it's still a physical beating. Then you go on the road to Ohio State. Now you got to finish this trifecta of games by, before Rutgers comes, by going to Michigan State. It's a noon kick. It's an early start. It's not going to be easy. I will be very surprised if this is a Penn State blowout. I will. I think that the Lions do win. I think that depending on how the number keeps bouncing, they might cover, they might not. I have it 27-17 Lions. I don't think that's an easy 27-17. I think it feels more like 20-17, and then Penn State scores late to increase the margin or something along those lines. But I believe you said the total was 48, so I like the under at this point. I just think it's a gut check game. It really is, going into the final month of the season.
I love the fact that you used the term trifecta on Breeders' Cup weekend.
That's right.
I know exactly where your mind is right now, young man. Trifecta on Breeders' Cup weekend.
That's right.
You have a 27-17 Penn State. The one thing I think that will be most interesting is Ryan Buchholz. I mean, he's not going to play. Lower leg injury early in the Ohio State game. So I think if you're Michigan State and you're trying to design a game plan for this Penn State defense, I think you're trying to get a lead and you're trying to run the ball on them to try and take control of the clock. They're second in the Big Ten in time of possession at about 34 minutes. And I think this is a defensive line that you can tire out a little bit if you can kind of keep the ball, be good on third down. The quarterback, Brian Lewerke.
That's right.
Lewerke. Is actually, he has more rushing yards than Trace McSorley. He's a young player that's getting better. I think that Michigan State will. They just lost to Northwestern. It was really a deceiving score. They lost 39-31. Michigan State did on the road in triple overtime. It was 17-17 at the end of the fourth quarter. So it was not the shootout that maybe some people might think it is. So I think, and I saw the Indiana game they played. They struggled to score points there. I think Michigan State will score more points than maybe normal, just because Penn State's defensive front is a little tired, and the Buchholz injury kind of really affects their depth a little bit. But I do agree with you. You said 27-17. The score I wrote down was Penn State 30, Michigan State 20. The reason I bring up all that stuff about Michigan State scoring is I think it's going to push the total over. They're on a nice little overrun now with Michigan and Ohio State. The last two games have gone over the total. It's 47.5, 48. I do think that Michigan State will be able to score a little bit on Penn State, but I just think that Penn State is a resilient team. I do think they have great leaders, and it's really tough for me. I think Trace McSorley is a guy that will grab the bull by the horn Saturday, and I do think they're going to score in the 30s on Michigan State. 30-20, 27-17 on Breeders' Cup weekend with the trifecta reference. I love it.
That's right.
We're both in agreement. Let's see what the rest of the staff thinks.